Alrighty, so you're probably sick of hearing about this by now, but there is another new World 4 skip setup. I'm just going to say this one is very, very consistent, so try this out for yourself. Give it a few hours of practice and see if it works for you. This is probably the one I'm going to be doing in runs. I know I say that for every setup, but this one is very, very consistent. I've worked on this for the past few hours. Me and Snuggles have put our brains together and figured this out. So start your position on the left side of this roof. Anywhere to the left side of this infinity symbol works. So this is your visual cue for this. So anywhere to the left side of this works. Just let slide down into place. When you have that, drop down to this log, and you're going to ledge grab the back side of it just like this. So from here, center your camera by pressing R3, and keep pressing R3 every time you ledge grab, and slowly move to the left. And I'm pressing R3 every time I ledge grab here. Just keep moving to the left until you line up the bottom left corner of that window frame above Sly's head right now to the left side, or the right side rather, of the mountain in the background. So it should come to a nice point. I'll try to point that out in the editing so you can see what I mean. From here, this is the visual cue. As long as your camera is centered, check your camera every time you ledge grab to make sure it's centered. If it is and you have your visual cue lined up, tap X, and then from here there's two things you can do to get the setup, and this is where you can choose what you want to do. So there's two things you can do from this position. The first and the easiest way is to just hold down right on the D-pad and single jump off. If you do this right, if you time your inputs right, Sly will drown every time, and you should always get the same launch. And then use the same visual cue as before, the mountains leaving the top of the game feed. And this should give you the same launch every time. This one is the most consistent way that I found to do it. But if that's giving you trouble, if you can't seem to get the down right on the D-pad, the movement for that is kind of scuffed. Sometimes the D-pad is inconsistent for me. But as you can see, it's very consistent to get the drown if you do that setup. There's another setup you can try if you don't like that. So from this position, the same position we had before, center your camera, press down on the D-pad, turn your camera to the right, and you'll notice there's a big piece of wood coming up out of the water, and it has snow on top of it, and it comes to a point on the left side. So line the left side of your screen up with that point on the left side, so just like that. From here, you can hold down on the D-pad and single jump, and this should guarantee you drown as well. And then use the same visual cue for the drown cancel every time, and this should give me the exact same launch I had before with just a slightly different setup. So you can try both of those setups for yourself, see which one works for you. Like I said, the most consistent way is to hold down right on the D-pad and single jump off. I've drowned very consistently using this setup, but if that doesn't work for you, you can try the other setup. Like I said, just make sure you center your camera. Centering the camera is the biggest thing with this setup. If you're not centering the camera, it's not going to work. And I'll try to point out the visual cues in editing, so hopefully that works for you guys. Let me know how this works.